Hello guys, in this video I will show you how to use for loop with your Visual Basic Windows Form application. So what is a for loop? By name itself we know that for loop is a kind of loop, and specifically we use for loop if we know the number of iteration which we want to execute. For example, if you want to show a message 10 times without writing a code repeatedly 10 times, then you can use for loop, and the number of iteration are fixed in the for loop. That's the main property of for loop. So let's get started. I have taken a button in my sample project, so just drag and drop a button and just change text as for loop, and I double click this button. And first of all, I will declare a integer variable, for example. So I'll write dim I as integer. Okay, and then I will now write a for loop. So I will write for I, which we have declared just now, is equal to the initial value from which we are uh, initializing our integer, which is 0, 2, and the maximum number of iteration you want to iterate, for example 10, and then I hit enter, and you will see here it's automatically has generated this next code for us. So what it will do is, let me just initialize this integer as 0 also, so we don't have any confusion in here. So now for what this for loop will do is, it will start with 0 and it will execute the code which is inside this for loop, and then it sees this next, and it will increase this integer by 1, and it will keep on looping this code and executing this code which we will write inside this for loop till 10 is reached, right? So let's see. For example, I want to show the message, so I will write message box dot show, and I will write a message. For example, I will write I value is equal to, and then I will write this and sign, and I will write this I. Okay, and now when I run my program, and when I click this for loop, it will show first value of for loop, which is 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So if you see, when I just click it to the 12th time, my message is not repeating because we are outside our for loop, right? So it goes from 0 to 10, which are 11 values. If we have initialized this with 1 to 10, then it will go, or it will execute this code 10 times, right? So in this way you can execute any code in a loop, and this variable can be anything. It can be x and x and x, or any variable, but just remember it's better to initialize this integer or whatever variable you want to loop, because if you don't initialize your loop, then it will take a random values and it will behave ambiguously. So just remember that you don't forget to initialize this for loop. So I hope you have understood the basic concept behind for loop and you will be able to use it in your Visual Basic project. I hope you have learned something new this time. Please rate, comment and subscribe.